It's got the dual diaphragm brake booster. It's got the billet aluminum adapter plate, spacer plate, all the linkage to hook it up to your pedal. And then this is another tool for setting the proper clearances. Here is the master cylinder with some fittings. Yeah, so that's that. The most important thing on this, make sure you remove this. I've actually had people that have tried to install this and left this little rubber plug in there, which is pretty dumb. Here you can see the brake booster, the master cylinder, and then the proportioning valve, which came with the supplied stainless lines that hook up to there. Nothing too tricky there, I guess. Right here I have one line that goes to both the front brakes because stock, it actually had one line. See this line here that went to all three of the brakes. This proportioning valve had two ports for front brakes, but it also came with the plug, so I just plugged up the second one. And back here you can see that copper line again, which I flared and put on the proper fitting. I'm not sure exactly what's fucking Jesus Christ. So many tools out. I'm not sure what size exactly that is, but it came with this nut here, that nut fitting. So I just cut off the line that I bought and then re-flared it. Jesus! Gotta clean this shit up. And now all I have left to do is hook up the vacuum line. Now this is an inline 6. A lot of inline 6 are gonna have the same basic setup where it's got the vacuum plug right there, which goes up to the PCV valve, which is right there. So what I did was I'm just gonna take this fitting off and I'm actually just gonna tap the end of it for a nipple. Now you could go and buy like a street elbow or something different and make something work, but I'm just gonna use this nipple here, tap the hole, or tap the fitting, put this in there, then the line will come out like this, curve up, and go into the fitting on the brake booster. So that's the cheapest way to do it. $6 for this fitting. Otherwise you can get a street elbow and another adapter, and that's going to be about $12. But yeah, or if you have any sort of plastic tees, you could plastic tee off of this original hose and then just have it come up. There's all sorts of ways to do it. This is the way I'm going to do it. And other than that, it's pretty much done. I got it already bled. Went together fairly easy. There could be some better instructions with this kit, honestly. Well, there could be instructions at all. There's no instructions with the kit, but it wasn't too tough. I just had to mess with the pedal a little bit and the linkage, and that was probably the most time-consuming part. Pretty decent kit. All I gotta do is hook up the e-brakes and plumb up this vacuum line, and it'll be done and ready to try her out. So what I'm doing there is I got the rear end jacked up and I'm just adjusting the brakes, actually the pedal. So up in here you can see, I'll show you, here is the linkage. See that nice shiny rod? That's the linkage with the threads coming out of it. So basically I'm just adjusting until it kind of grabs when you touch the pedal a little bit. I had that actually threaded all the way in there. You can see there's about 3/4 of an inch of thread there. And I didn't have brakes until almost the floor, so I had to thread it out. This is all personal preference. You just thread it out and then put that jam nut back on there. And right now, make sure the brakes don't lock up. This should spin, but it doesn't, so that means it's too tight right now. So I'll have to loosen that pedal up a little bit, otherwise this brake will actually overheat going down the road. So that's why I have the wheel off and everything, and I'm checking all this ahead of time because I have had these where they overheat, and that's no good. So yeah, just go until it feels right, I guess. Now if you have 2 people and a test light, you can actually check to see if this switch here, this is a pressure switch. Whenever there's any sort of pressure, this prong will ground itself. So if you hook a test light to the positive part of the terminal on the battery and then come and touch this light, if you have 2 people, you can adjust the brake pedal until it barely or until this light shuts off. That means there's no pressure going to the brakes, which is what you want. But I have to do it this way, the old-fashioned way, because I only have 1 person. So yeah, cool. Down here I'm working on the last upgrade to this truck, which is e-brakes. There's an e-brake handle inside this truck, but it wasn't hooked up before. Here is the e-brake mechanism on here. Now this basically works just, it's like a hydraulic little deal. When it pulls this spring in, or pulls this tighter, which sends pressure out to your brakes. So what I did here is I just routed this line, and I'm going to use a little metal clip to mount this to this tab here. Routed it up. Here's the original factory tab on the frame for the brake cable, and then goes to this stainless line, which uses this connector. Just basically like a tab and slot type deal, or whatever you want to call it. You put the ends in through there, and then it pulls it tight and holds it there. Same thing on the other side. So I took the braided stainless line that came with the kit, and I have it come up, and it goes into a Y. So you see there, you see one line here, and then it goes to another cable, which goes to the pendulum. Now under here, I could have elected to have this go through the drive shaft tunnel, but then it had a chance of rubbing on the drive shaft when it spins, so I elected not to do that. So you can see right there is where the Y comes. You see the Y comes up to there, or the line, and then it hooks to another line, this other braided stainless line, which is the original line that was on the truck here, which I modified. So it goes to that, and then it wraps around, comes up, and I have one of these little U-bolt style clamps. You can see that just clamps the 2 together, and then I cut the excess off of there and just wire tied it. And then it goes back to this mechanism here, which has adjustment. You can see the adjusting screw, which goes to, this is all original here as far as I know. Goes up to this bracket up here with the spring on it. The spring goes back and holds your tension so it returns itself. And then that one goes up to the handle inside. So it basically pivots. So when you pull the handle, that pulls the lever in that slot. You can see the slot that pulls that back that way, which in turn is going to pull this as well, which pulls the whole cord assembly, and then you get brakes. During testing the e-brake system, this e-brake on this caliper actually fell off. This bolt here, which holds it to the caliper, wasn't tight. So I would suggest, if you're going to use this e-brake kit, that you take and put some Loctite on this bolt and put it in there. It doesn't appear that they put any sort of thread locker on there, because that is important. Just a good note, something to consider. And the easiest way to put all this stuff on here, you see this cable and all that, is going to be to take the spring itself off, and then you can easily get your C-clip on there, and then you can just push the spring back on and push it back on this bracket here. All trucks, cars, going to be slightly different. You just have to think about it. Here's the handle. You can see it has this gear mechanism in it which locks it. So you pull on it, and now the e-brakes are locked. Back here you can see that the spring is compressed. And then there's a trigger on here. Just releases and goes back. pretty simple, just a mechanical style pull. Nothing too complicated, you just gotta think about it and execute.